Get your high voltage looks ready. This is Felicity Was Here. Welcome back to Felicity Was Here. I'm Heather.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Dr. Joe.
And today we're discussing Felicity, Season 2, Episode 2, The List. Hello, ladies. Do y'all have your high voltage looks on today?
Always.
No, I'm in sweats.
I straightened my hair for you all.
It looks nice.
I love it.
But yeah, I don't think any of us did the blush on the nipples trick for the episode recording.
What in the world? That was unusual.
Like, I will forever remember that because it's just so weird.
I'm offended because it's weird, not because it's lewd.
Yeah, no, it's just weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like it. I hate it.
Well, last week on Felicity went back to New York City for her sophomore year, where she and Megan are co-RAs and roommates again. We also found out that Felicity went with Ben on the cross-country road trip over the summer, and both Noel and Julie are still mad as hell about it. Noel and Elena became roommates, and Julie moved in with Ben and Sean, which, not awkward at all. It's going to be a great year. Meanwhile, Felicity might be falling in love with Ben. So today we're here to discuss Episode 2, The List. It's written by JJ and Matt and Jennifer Levin and directed by Barnett Kellman. And this is actually one of the top-rated episodes of Season 2 on IMDb, which I thought was interesting. I actually really like this episode too because it's so relatable. Like, I feel like so many of us, like, who hasn't changed parts of themselves to like fit in a relationship or because you think it'll make someone like you, especially when you're younger and even like you're still just trying to figure out who you are. It'll be like, he likes that band. I'm going to start listening to that band so that I can talk to him about something. You know, I think it comes up a lot when you're younger. So I just think this episode's really relatable.
I think liking a band or pretending to like a band or taking some sort of interest in their interest, I think it's a little bit different than what happens in this episode. I felt like it was more altering of self-style kind of stuff, like your person, not stuff that you're pretending to like too. So I think that was even more extreme, this version of changing ourselves. But that's interesting. The stakes are higher. It's college.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, I mean, the band thing, that was just an example. But yeah, I mean,
that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah,
for sure.
Some of my favorite bands that I like now have come from trying to impress a guy in my 20s and 30s. So I think it's great because then you actually like the things that you pretend to like at first. Sometimes.
That is always a possibility. You could get something out of it for yourself.
Yes, you can grow as a person by being interested in other things that the person you're pursuing is into.
It's just called open mind.
But yeah, Dr. Joe's right. Like if you change something about yourself, like what you're willing to put up with, I think there is a difference for sure.
Do you guys remember when I was learning how to rock climb for quite some time?
Yeah.
I said I could belay all day because I was like, I tried it a couple times with her. Like I was like, I remember I'm scared of heights. Went back down, and then I said I'll belay all day, and she said, okay.
You did come with me for several times, yeah. But I'm saying that was for a guy, and then I ended up really liking it. So
it's a great workout. I just am terrified of heights. It was fun though. That was a good time.
Well, we open up on the episode and Felicity is in her room searching for her tape recorder. She finally finds it and listens to it, notices that it's in the wrong spot, as if someone had rewinded it. I don't know the past tense of that word, and listened to it. Megan comes in the room and Felicity asks her if she listened to her tape, which kind of amuses Megan because she's like, as if I would listen to your tape. She's like, what would you do if I did? Like, would you start popping pills? And I love that. Felicity freaks out at her and says that she puts extremely personal things on her tape, and it'd be like if she opened Megan's box. So Megan's box returns in Season 2. Megan says, if you think your tape compares to what's in my box, then prove it. Play your tape. I'll show you what's in my box and we'll see whose is more intense. So Felicity plays a little bit of her tape, but Megan says that was lame and doesn't hold up her end of the bargain. She's like, I'm not showing you what's in my box. So the whole interaction's a lot funnier than I could do. And I love a funny cold open for Felicity. Like it starts things out a little lighter because we know the show can get heavy. So I love a funny cold open.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. Megan's so devious. Like she's like, what would you do if I did? Like she was really maybe entertaining the thought that she could do it because she wanted to see what if it was a juicy enough reaction. Maybe she will do it in the future. Who knows? It's like she was really enjoying that moment. But I think it's funny that they both reacted the same exact way because she's like, what would you do if I did? And Felicity flipped out like, I can't believe you did that. And then she said, that's like if I were to look in your box. You looked in my box. Like they both like responded the exact same way. I thought that was funny too.
Because it's an invasion of privacy. Yeah, no matter what.
But like but jumping to the you did do that from just the question, what if I did?
So then Felicity tells Sally that her and Ben were doing great and that being an RA was ending up to be a fun challenge. So we see Felicity and Megan leading another floor meeting where Felicity tells her advisees that they've enjoyed their first week with them, but of course Megan didn't, and she points out one of the guys and says, except for you, you're weird. And it's this one advisee with like Ryan Seacrest in sync hair with like frosted tips, spiky hair. And then Berkey stands up in the meeting and he wants Felicity to keep an eye on him because, you know, he's laughing on the outside, but he's sad on the inside, just looking for attention from Felicity. And then there's another girl named Gretchen who gets up and cries and says she can't take this anymore. And she storms off to her room. I think Megan's reaction is really funny because Felicity's like, I'm going to go see if she's okay. Megan says, don't give her, she wants the attention. Like, don't chase after her. But Felicity says that that's their job. So Felicity goes into Gretchen's room to check on her. And Gretchen says that she's losing her boyfriend, Ian, that they were supposed to meet up last night and he forgot. Felicity asked Gretchen if she talked to him, but Gretchen says that Ian doesn't like to talk. So now Gretchen is thinking of doing 10 steps to winning him back, which is an article in Girl World magazine. And at this point, like, I just wanted to say, I think we've come a long way in the media. Like, we're definitely not perfect, but thank God, like, I don't think we would see an article like that in a Cosmo or an Allure today, like the 10 steps to winning him back. I think a lot of the publishers have gotten the point that it's like, demeaning and like women care about more than just men and looking good for men and what we could do. Like everything was through the male gaze, and I just really it was poignant to me seeing that type of article. Like I don't think we would see today.
I wondered about that because it made me think of like I don't know, I don't really read magazines that much. I don't really know what's out there right now, but it made me think of like 10 different sex positions to try that'll drive him crazy. So it's like I think that's been fairly recent that kind of stuff was there. It's like that's along the same lines. Like it's I don't know what to think about that, but I'm sure we could do better just in general.
Yeah, I don't think it's perfect, but I think a lot. I mean, not many media outlets have print magazines anymore. They're all like going out of business, but I feel like a lot of the online articles have changed where it is more just about like 10 positions to try, but it's just about your pleasure or mutual pleasure, not just about what the man. I think that it has changed.
10 yoga positions for your own health.
Or it's about your career, right. How to invest money. Like it's more than just how to get a guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think it has gotten a lot better. Definitely not.
That's really. I feel like BuzzFeed would be like the modern version of this. They always have like lists, like ranked lists. Mm-hmm. I feel like they have 10 best vibrators. It's definitely different now.
Awesome.
But definitely
drop a link in the comments.
10 ways to change your personality. 10 ways to change your personality to get a guy. I don't think we would see.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. But a few of these steps, Gretchen is thinking of trying. So some of them were to ring his mobile phone and talk dirty. Some were to get lusty lingerie. And the nefarious put blush on your nipples. And Felicity, of course, reads that, laughs out loud. She's like, oh my God, you cannot do this. This is insane. And she tells Gretchen that Felicity just couldn't do this. Like she couldn't be in a relationship where she couldn't be herself. It's a lie. She says, you want Ian liking you for you, not a girl a stupid magazine made up. And Gretchen asks her if she has a boyfriend. Felicity says yes, but we're just in the beginning stages. And Gretchen reminisces that the beginning's the best. She says they're so sweet and romantic. and that Ian used to leave love notes for her everywhere. And then one day, he got a funny look on his face, and she never got another note again. So Felicity tells Sally that she doesn't think she's ever seen a funny look on Ben's face, but she doesn't want to overanalyze. So Felicity and Ben are at Dean and DeLuca working together and planning a very cute date in Bryant Park with a movie and a picnic that they're going to pack. So they're joking around, Ben's juggling muffins, and Felicity says, "I love this, being with you. It's great." Ben says, "Yeah, it is," but his face says otherwise. Felicity tells Sally that his face had all the classic signs of a funny look, but she's decided she's just going to ignore it. What do we think? Do you think it was a funny look?
Absolutely.
No, I felt like I saw a lot of sadness come up. Like, a lot of sadness on his face kept coming up throughout the episode. So that's what I noticed. That was most striking to me.
I think because she used the word love.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't I
Yeah.
love you, it was I love
It
this.
reminded him.
Yeah,
He-
it was a
he
trigger.
He started to panic again.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
Exactly.
and be reminded of the tape that he
Mhm.
listened to. So Ben talks with Sean about the tape, and Sean says that it's bad, her saying that it might be love, but it's like a monkey in the room. You can have the greatest time in the world, but the monkey's always going to be there. And she said that this might be love, and Sean says that it's even worse because she was talking to her girlfriend on this tape, not to Ben, so she was probably being super honest about it. Ben doesn't want to make a big deal about it, but Sean asks, "Well, then why did you tell me?" And Ben doesn't know. Why do you think Ben told Sean?
I think he really wants to have the ideal situation, and he is confused because he hasn't had a situation quite like this before. Like, yeah, he was there for Julie when she was going through some serious stuff, but it's a little bit different, and I want to explore what those differences might be later on, but I think he wants an excuse to be like, no, don't let her go. Like, I think he wants somebody to like talk him back into it or strongly validate. But I don't think he wants to hear that. Like, he doesn't like that. He already knew what Sean was going to say. So, like, why would he go back to Sean about it?
Well,
Yeah,
He's not the right person
Sean's
for
not
advice.
the right person.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it's too bad that he didn't have somebody else to talk to, because I think maybe things would have turned out a little bit differently. Maybe he wouldn't listen to the tape recorder to begin with, because Sean got in his head and like,
I mean, yeah,
you
Sean
know.
put all of this in his head.
he put a lot of stuff in his head, or like woke up a lot of stuff that was
Yeah.
there, kind of activated some things.
Yeah, Ben
But-
needs more friends. I wish Lynn stuck around.
Oh.
'cause he needs
Right?
more
Oh my gosh,
friends.
Lynn
Yeah.
totally would have
Yeah.
come in handy.
he would have been like, no, this is great.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Do this.
Yeah, like, are you an
Mhm.
idiot? Of course you shouldn't break up with her and like drop in that idiot word again. So I backing up a little bit. I did notice he did swallow, like he takes bigger swallows in this episode, because I was talking about his breathing and I was listening when I was editing. Melissa's like, we gotta look at people's necks. So I did look at his neck specifically. I was like making what I could, with
Melissa's
what
like,
I
I'm
had.
playing games on my phone while I'm watching now. I can't be watching
Oh
breathing.
my God.
Yeah, but he was doing like gulp,
Mhm.
like like that nervous gulp swallow. He was doing that a lot in this episode and letting out big exhales, or
Okay,
like breathing
I
in
know
a
what
lot
you're
or
talking about.
letting out bigger
Yeah,
exhales.
I did notice big gulps. And I wasn't
Yeah,
even like
it was
thinking
much
about
more.
the breathing stuff, but I did notice the gulping. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So he did that. He did his big swallow. He did the exhale, and then he started looking a little bit sad in that first part. So yeah.
I mean, I mostly noticed he's like very conflicted. Like, you can see the gears turning in his head and like weighing all the options and overthinking everything, which is interesting because I always think of like Felicity as the overthinker, but in this episode I feel like I can see everything turning in his brain and like trying to work it out. Unfortunately, it doesn't end well, but I feel like in all of those moments when he's talking to her, he's like, I do like being with her, but I'm freaked out. Like, you can see it going on in his brain too.
And more than overthinking, I think he's overfeeling, and he's not used to those kinds of feelings. I think he feels differently about Felicity than he did about Julie. I think he does have stronger feelings for her, probably, for Felicity, and he doesn't know what to do with that.
He's just not ready.
Yeah, and doesn't, whatever, we'll get there. But I feel like some of this that I saw in his face, like that feeling conflicted or confused, I feel like it was like grief a little bit, how grief can be mixed. Like there can be some relief, some sadness, some like smiling when you're thinking about the good memories, but then like right after that, sadness chases that because you're like, I'm never gonna have those good memories again. So I feel like he was like pre-grieving, like he sees not good stuff in their future and he's like already starting that grieving process and like all the mixed emotions that come with that.
Hmm. It's funny you brought up Julie because it is such a different relationship. Like I don't know that we've really unpacked it yet, but like the savior complex stuff with Julie, like it was just trauma after trauma with her that was helping her through. And like Felicity doesn't really need saving from anything, right? Like she's just standing on her own, like they're having a good time. So it's just, yeah, it's interesting that it's such a different, you said like he feels more for her, more for Felicity probably. And I just think that's interesting. Like, yeah, it's probably just a completely different relationship for him too, because he's used to trying to save people and she doesn't need saving.
Well, not this year, but she was always knocking on Noel's door. She needed a lot of saving freshman year, I'd say. You know, like if you want to make that contrast, but I think there's also a difference with how he relates to them. I think he felt like he could relate to Julie more because when she got SA'd and he was like explaining like it wasn't my fault when my dad was doing that stuff to me, like hitting me or whatever. And it sent that message like it's not your fault I got SA'd. I think he felt like he was on her same level. And I think Felicity's out of his league type
Mhm.
of thing. I think that's a really, really big difference.
Hmm.
So I think that's more evidence that it wasn't necessarily about the seriousness because Julie went through some serious shit last year and he rode that out just fine, up until a point. But I mean, like that was like most of the year that he was with her and supporting her and like dealing with like some pretty heavy shit. So I don't know that it's just about like how serious things are or like how thoughtful or how much we have to talk. I think he feels differently about them.
So then, meanwhile, Noel and Elena are hanging out at Epstein, and Elena is for some reason asking Noel about his body count. She asks him if it's more or less than 10, and Noel says he's not going to be answering that. So then Elena's like, oh, okay, so it's less than 10. And she says that that's adorable. It's like he's a virgin. And I'm like, it's really not, though. And also, he's what, like 19 or 20? Like, that's that cute or like sweet and innocent. Like he's really
Yeah.
young. Like to have more than 10, I don't think that's that crazy, but I don't know, whatever. And so yeah, she says it's like you're a virgin, just as a cute, pretty waitress walks up to take their order. And so after she does take the order, Elena suggests that Noel asks out the waitress. He's like, no, now she thinks I'm a virgin because he said that in front of her. Elena says that it's time to move on because Felicity has. I'm like, well, Noel did too with that Beth girl, but okay, like something more serious, maybe. So he says, okay, gets up. He's like, how do I look? Elena says, like a virgin. So he goes up to the waitress. We see them talking, and then he comes back to the table, tells Elena that he didn't know what to say, so he just asked for a straw. Elena says, well, that's a start. But Noel says he feels like he's lost all his moves, that like Berlin with Beth didn't count because she was drunk and he was desperate. And then the waitress stops by again to see if he wants a drink with his straw. He's like, no, thanks, I'm good. And yeah, so clearly he's awkward and doesn't know how to hit on women, apparently, even though he's had plenty of girlfriends.
Plenty? I don't know. He was with Hannah for a while. Like, how much time did he have to have, like, plenty of girlfriends? Maybe, like, dated plenty, but I don't know how many.
I guess
They were
dated
together
maybe,
in
but,
high school,
I mean,
right? Him and Hannah.
Hannah was long-term and Felicity. Yeah.
Right, so I don't think he does have a lot of necessarily dating experience if he was in some longer-term relationships. Longer-ish, for that age.
Yeah, that's fair. So then at the loft, Julie hands Sean a flyer for a party, which she wants to host at his place. Sean says no, though, no parties, that 150 college kids means a trashed apartment. But Julie is smart, and she says, well, think about 150 college kids at $5 a head. And so he decides they're going to do that. She's so excited. She gives him a big hug. And Sean says that they make a great team, don't they? And Julie says, yep, but then she gets up and she's leaving to go talk to this guy in her human sexuality class. She's been looking for a reason to talk to him, and this party is a great reason to do that. So, yeah, Sean's a little bummed.
What a fool. Like, we didn't have enough of, like, let's date my friend's ex already going on. Like, what are you thinking, man? Come on. What a fool.
Yeah, the circle's gotten very incestuous already.
Yeah, it's too much. But I think it was so funny when she first walked in talking about the party. She's like, "You're not invited. I'm just asking if I can have one." Like did you hear that? Did you notice that? She's like,
That's
"Oh, you're
not
not
how she.
invited."
No, so he was saying, "Oh, you're inviting me to a party at my own place." She's like, "No, no, no. It's not like I'm inviting it. Like I'm asking you if it's okay." Like,
That's what I mean. Like she wasn't invited. I felt like it was just like, no, like I don't want you here. I just wanted permission to throw the
no, it was like,
party.
no, it's not like I've already decided that I'm having this party. I'm inviting you. Like I'm asking for your permission. Is this
Mm.
okay? Like, of course he's gonna be invited. I don't think that was malicious or mean.
I read it a different way.
Mm.
But did she have
Yeah,
flyers?
how did she make these flyers already?
She obviously planned
That
on
was
doing
her
it.
like that was her pitch to him. Is like, hey, what do you think? Party.
Why didn't she just talk about it first?
Why wasn't that just a conversation? Like she went and printed a fuckload of flyers? Like she was gonna
'Cause-
do it.
I don't know. Maybe she wanted to do some fun design in Microsoft Paint. I don't know.
She should have had
Yeah.
Noel do it.
That's true. He could have made one. So then at Dina DeLuca, Felicity is packing the picnic basket for her date with Ben when he comes in. And he says it looks great. And she says she also got the pictures back from their trip and hands them to him. And she says they're really good. The one at Mighty Mart is classic. She's really excited about it, but he's just holding them. And Felicity asks, aren't you going to look at it? He's like, oh, yeah, right, of course. And starts shuffling through them. But yeah, there's again a funny look on his face. It's awkward. She asks him what's wrong, but he says he's fine. And Felicity's like, no, you're not fine. Like, I can tell by your face. It's the second time I've seen this look from you. She's like, is it about us? He says no. But then she says, you're not happy, are you? He says no. He doesn't know if this is what he wants right now. And he's sorry.
Okay, I think he means it.
Means
like
what?
that he's sorry. Like I think he does feel very
Well, sure,
sad and
yeah.
bad about it. Like I think so he was doing that thing like he was swallowing hard again and exhaling, and I think he doesn't want to hurt her, but he thinks it'll hurt her more to stay in a relationship with him. Like I think he thinks he's doing her a favor by cutting her loose and, go find a better man than me kind of thing. Because his self-esteem's so low. I think it's gotten better. It got improved a bit through season 1, but it's still not really a healthy kind of self-esteem. What do you think, Heather? I see you nodding and bopping. What's going on?
You want to know?
Yes.
I mean, I do think genuinely he is conflicted, and I do think he's sorry. Like, again, I don't think there's anything malicious here. It just, she did have to push him. Like, he was like, it's fine, it's fine. He was going to push it down. I don't know that he would have broken up with her unless she had pushed him in that moment. But I mean, yeah, I don't think he's doing it on purpose and probably doesn't know why. He just knows that he's freaked out.
Yeah, the insight's not there behind it. But I don't think she had to, we didn't see like multiple scenes over and over again of her asking and nagging. He did cop to it pretty quick after she didn't have to nudge him so hard. Like I felt like he was being really open in this episode and admitting to stuff pretty easily if he just had a little bit of a nudge. Like, I don't think she had to drag stuff out of him. Like, I think he was pretty forthcoming about his stuff. Not initiating it, but being honest when he was confronted.
And if we take a look at like the season 1, like he ended things with Julie because it was getting too serious. Right before the road trip, he told Felicity, why does everything have to have this big meaning? I just like you. Let's just do this and have fun. So it's like, it's not like at any point he led her on or was like, I want a serious thing with you. So, I mean, this kind of all checks out so far with him, sadly.
Yep, that tracks. Yeah, road trips are
Mm.
fun. Yeah. Did he ever say like, hey, let's get engaged? Like, let's be boyfriend, girlfriend? Like, even when he was talking to Sean, he was like, we might be dating. Like, that wasn't even like super duper, like, we're boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, we are dating exclusively kind of thing. Like, even though, like, of course, I don't think either one of them was trying to see anybody else. But the fact that he said we might be dating, like, in the first episode, I was like, wow, you don't even know that you are or are not? So that doesn't sound like either one of them was like, yeah, this is serious. Like, we're engaged now.
I don't think Felicity wants to be engaged either.
I know,
mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think like she just wanted to have fun with them too.
So then Felicity tells Elena about it. And Elena said, so that's all he said? She said, yep, that's all been said. And then Felicity left. She says she just wishes she knew why. She should have known that this would happen. But Elena says that she was just following her heart. And Felicity says, yeah, well, I hate my heart right now. So Elena says that Ben's he's a guy and nothing they do ever makes sense. And meanwhile, Ben's talking to Sean, and he says that he never told Felicity that he listened to her tape. Sean says, yeah, well, why put salt in the wound? But again, Ben, to me, looks conflicted, and again, like, still looks like he's thinking about it, like, did I make the wrong move? And even asks Sean, like, what if I made a mistake? But of course, Julie comes home then and interrupts their conversation.
She's real good at interrupting.
Although, again, not that Sean is a great person to ask for advice. He's made his opinion clear. So, like, even if Ben thought that he did make a mistake, like, what's Sean going to say? Like, oh, yeah, no, you've changed in a day. You should probably get her back. You know, like, Sean's
What were
not
you
gonna do
thinking, man?
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was fidgeting, Ben was. Like, it looked like he was, like, moving in a way that he was, like, wiping his hands on his legs, like his palms were sweaty or something, or he was just, like, fidgety in general. Like, he's, like, a little bit hyped up, like, along with the other feelings. He looks, like, a little bit nervous. Like, he just looks a little, like, fidgety. And I want to go back and say that shot when it pulls out and you can see them through the little door window, their body language was so good. That was such a great shot to see them because they weren't talking. We don't hear anything. We just see them, but we can know that things aren't good in that moment by their body language and the way they're framed. I thought that was great.
Cinematography is A+.
Yes,
on the show.
yes.
So then back at the dorm, we see Gretchen coming out of the elevator, and she's got some stripper heels on, walking like Bambi can barely stand up straight, and passes by Felicity. Felicity's like, what are you doing? Gretchen says that it's part of her high voltage look, which is number 6 on the list. And Felicity's a little confused. She's like, I thought you weren't going to do the list. Gretchen says, well, you know, I wasn't. I was going to quit, but I'm glad I didn't because Ian called me. And Gretchen says that one of his friends saw her dressed like that in the cafeteria or something, and now Ian wants his own private viewing. I just, like, got really grossed out by all of that. Like, the friends seeing, talking to their guy friend about it, and then him being like, I want to, like, oh, just ew, all of that.
What a tragedy.
And she proceeds to tell Felicity that there's some awesome outfit in the magazine that would look great on Felicity and would make her boyfriend die. But I did notice in the scene, Felicity's wearing the necklace. It's very shiny in that scene in particular. So clearly, even though they've technically broken up, or Ben's like, yeah, I don't want to do this, I'm not happy, whatever, like, she's still thinking about him and wondering what's going on and probably still holding on some hope there. So still on necklace watch in these episodes. And it will come into play at the end of the episode. So then we see Noel heads back to Epstein to ask out the waitress. He heads over to her, introduces himself like, hi, I'm Noel. And she just, like, puts up her hands like, nope. And he's like, wait, no what? Like, all I said was I'm Noel. And she says she doesn't date customers and she has a boyfriend, which I don't know if I believe that. But either way, she says no. So Noel heads home, back to Elena, and she sees that he's upset. She's like, oh, you struck out? Noel says, no, that would have been a pleasure to strike out. I was thrown out of the game entirely. So Elena says, all right, show me your technique. She's like, you spy a Gwyneth Paltrow lookalike across the room. What do you do? I'm like, oh, what an amazing reference. Like,
what a reference.
That's the celebrity of 1999 that you spot across the room. And Noel says what he would do is stand 50 feet away and just hope that Gwyneth notices him. So Elena suggests, hey, practice on me. Try and pick me up. So he introduces himself again, like, hi, I'm Noel. And Elena does the same thing. And she's like, no. He's like, oh my God, that's what the waitress said. But Elena says that with picking up women, you have to do it in stages to make them feel comfortable. So Elena plays Noel, and Noel has to be Gwyneth now, and she'll show him how to do it. So Elena asks, like, oh, do you know where the bathroom is? She's so smooth. She's so confident. I'm so jealous of her. And she introduces herself to, quote unquote, Gwyneth. And she's like, look, Noel, how easy that is. He's like, yeah, well, you know, I'm not you. So Elena says, well, you can practice at this party that Julie invited us to. So now we know they're both going to the party as well. Then we go to Felicity's room. She's crying, looking at Ben photos, and then Berkey stops by to ask her out to dinner. This is not the time. She doesn't want to deal with him. She calls him a pest and an incessant, annoying gnat. Like, gnat with the G. and that is just like buzzing around until one day, splat, it's gone. So she's not going out with him now, not ever. While she's dealing with Berkey, Ben is also looking at pictures of Felicity, and again, he's smiling, but he still, looks confused. Like, he does like her, but he's already dumped her. So he decides to go to Felicity's, stops by her room, and wants to talk. And of course, he says he doesn't know where to start. And so Felicity's like, then can I ask you something first? Which is so funny because in the last episode, she's like, oh, can I say something first? She's like, you usually do. So like, it's just so Felicity to be like, can I ask you something first then? So she asks Ben, was it just me or did we have an amazing time together on our trip? He says, no, it wasn't just her. So she wants to know what changed. Ben says that he just feels a lot of pressure. He's worried that he can't live up to her expectations. She says, what expectations? Like, I just want to be with you. And Ben says that he thinks she wants someone who's going to be totally focused on just her long term. Someone who's going to talk to her about everything, but he's just not like that. Then it's also a lot to do with knowing that she thinks it might be love. And Felicity says, wait, what? Like, who said anything about love? Ben says, you did. I listened to your tape. So she then freaks out like, oh my God, why would you do that? He said it just happened. She tries to explain herself, says that she wasn't really thinking when she said those words. It was just a stream of consciousness. And he's like, yeah, that's what kind of makes it even worse. Like, you were being honest. Like, you truly feel those things. So he just wants to forget it, but she says that she can't. And he's now getting like progressively more upset and angry. And he's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, can't it just be what it is? Everything has to be this huge deal with her. She's like, well, you walked in, you listened to my tape. This is a huge deal to me. So he said, yeah, this just isn't going to work. He thought it could, but it can't. And he gets up and leaves.
Crushed. So sad.
Okay. I thought he looked ashamed. That was another sprinkle of new emotion he threw in there. I felt like he was looking ashamed because when he was admitting what he did, he looked down. He couldn't keep her eye contact. So like, I feel there was like genuine remorse and shame stuff there going on too. I just really love their exchanges in these episodes, the first couple episodes. Like, they are so amazing together, the actors. I love it. No, like Scott Speedman and Kerry Russell. I'm not talking about Ben and Felicity.
Yes. There's a lot. No, there's like a lot going on in every scene. Yes.
Yeah, they deliver.
So then Felicity tells Megan that it was Ben who listened to her tape. So she apologizes for accusing Megan. And Megan's laughing. She thinks it's hilarious that Ben did that. She asks if he listened to the whole tape. Felicity's like, yeah, I think so. And Megan says, you must feel so stupid. But Felicity tells Sally that she didn't feel stupid. She felt lost. And she's like, the list was working for her advisee. So she has now decided to do the list. She's like, not the whole thing, just a few of them. Like number 5, go where the action is, which she was going to do anyway by going to Julie's party. And number 6, dress high voltage. She says she rationalizes that because she would have wanted to look nice anyway for the party, and she's not wearing 5-inch heels like Gretchen. And then she says she can't rationalize the next step, which is number 7, let him see you with another guy. And we see Felicity walking in slow-mo down the hallway of Kelvin to go knock on Berkey's door, and she looks fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that dress, the lips,
she
everything,
looked gorgeous.
She looks so hot.
So pretty. It's
amazing.
One of my favorite looks of the whole series on her. So pretty.
It looks it like fits her like a glove. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish she wore it for a better reason. But she looks amazing. So then she asks Berkey to go to the party with her because she knows he'll do it, basically. At the loft, it's party time, and Sean is the bouncer outside the apartment door. He's charging the cover when Julie's friend shows up, the one from her human sexuality class, and he's expecting to get in for free because Julie said he could. But Sean's not going to let him get in for free because he's jealous of this dude. So charges him the $10, and Tim gets in, finds Julie, they start chatting. Also at the party, we see Elena's coaching Noel to talk to a girl over by the keg. Elena says that the key right now is just to get her name. It's like baby steps, right? So Noel approaches this girl, asks where the keg is, but unfortunately it's like literally right next to them, so he looks stupid. But he still, continues with Elena's tips and plans. And so then he introduces himself. Like, I'm Noel. She just nods, though. So he has to ask for her name. And it's Bridget. But it's Bridget with a D, no T, instead of Bridget. Which, come on, girl.
So stupid.
So, yeah, that just the whole thing was not going well at all. And then after the Bridget no T, he's just drawing a blank on what else to say. And she also just feels pretty closed off, like she's just not having it. And then we see Ben, and he sees Felicity come in looking hot with Berkey. And then we see the back of the dress, and the back is like a low V.
Yes.
I just chef's kiss. It's so
Was that
pretty.
the part where she like
And I love that there's like
she like fixes her shoe or something? Yeah.
oh yeah. Just gotta show the high heel, fix the strap behind her. Yeah.
Such an iconic moment.
In the alternate intro credits. It's just, classic scene. So then Julie goes back to Sean at the front door, and now apparently Tim is weird and she needs Sean to save her from him. So Julie switches spots with Sean. Tim comes out, he's like, "Oh, I can sit out here with you and keep you company." And Sean's like, "Oh, Tim, let's go inside, let's chat." So Sean has now saved Julie. So then Felicity tells Sally that the minute she got to the party, she wanted to leave. She said that the list only changes how you look, not how you feel. So Berkey's talking some nonsense, and Ben comes up to Felicity. And Felicity tells Sally that number 9 on the list is to stay icy and indifferent, which proved to be pretty difficult, because Ben wants to go somewhere and talk. She kind of hesitates, tries to play it cool a little bit, and then he says, "Please," very seriously. And she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna, go." And he like takes her by the hand over to their little elevator thing to go up to the roof, which I really don't like this stuff here, but
it's hot.
I mean, he's hot, but that doesn't excuse it. Because now I do feel like he's leading her on, because he knows that he doesn't want this right now, and now he's just going back and giving her hope.
Well, she didn't come up to him wearing one of her big ass sweaters. She was wearing that dress. Like,
But she was on a date. She was on a date, as far as he knew.
I'm sure he knew. Yeah.
Well, so as they're going up to the roof, Noel then sees her going up there with Ben and looks upset as he's finally gotten Bridget to give him her number somehow. I don't know what magic he pulled after what we saw, but somehow she gave him a number. And we go up on the roof, and it's a gorgeous New York City summer night. And Ben tells Felicity she looks great. Felicity says, "Don't think I wore this for you." And Ben's smirking. He's like, "Oh, right, you wore it for your date." Because, like Dr. Joe said, he knew. She says, "No, I wore it for myself." He says he's sorry about the tape. He shouldn't have listened to it. And that she was right. The Mighty Mart picture is his favorite. And Felicity says that they look happy in it. He says they were, and grabs her hand. And then they kiss on the roof. And Felicity tells Sally that number 10 on the list is "don't let them see you care." And Felicity's like, "I should probably try that." Because she says maybe she does show her feelings too easily. And as they're kissing, Felicity tells Ben that maybe this doesn't have to be a big deal. We could just take it day by day, no expectations. He says, "Are you sure?" She says, "Yeah." But that's just so that she can keep making out with him. So then they make out some more.
Hot.
I've got 2 things. She's kind of leading him on by being like, "Yeah, sure, let's keep it light." So, that was like a mutual mishap. Like, they were both off course
now I
there.
think she's compromising what she wants just because she wants to be
like
with
she's
him.
being she's being false by being like, "Yeah, it'll be easy breezy." No. Here's the other thing. I wanted to know what the music was playing, so I looked it up because I was like, this had to have been amazing music for this moment.
I was going to
with
say
them on the
probably
roof.
whatever played as we were watching it's not even memorable.
Right. So I looked it up. It was Crash Into Me by the Dave Matthews Band. I was like,
Wow.
oh shit. I'm like, I got chills right now.
I actually
just
hate
thinking about
Dave
it.
Matthews Band.
But that song was such a big deal for
I
such
know.
back then. Like,
It fit
I think
the
that would have been
moment.
so powerful. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, I wish I could have seen that.
That song's good. I
Yeah.
hate Dave Matthews Band too, Heather, but that song is their one good one. But yeah, this
would have fit the
this
mood.
was my hottest Ben moment, the makeout session. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he like grabbed her butt a little bit as he like pulled her in, and damn, that was hot.
Even I will admit, very hot. Very
Yeah,
hot
steamy
scene.
stuff. Steamy
Yeah.
stuff.
It was good.
You know, Dr. Joe got sweaty. No, I'll sweaty everywhere. Oh, that's gross.
And with the dress and everything, like, yeah, I mean, perfect scene. But yeah, it's just unfortunate she's compromising on what she wants just to be with him because, yeah, he's hot. And they do like each other, but yeah, I think the whole, like, they already talked, he said again, like, can't do this, and now he wants to talk again. I feel like it's breadcrumbing, or I don't know.
You're the one who said he was conflicted. You used that word conflicted.
I
Or
know,
no,
but
you
like
said
once he's
confused.
conflicted and
conflicted.
confused. They're
Okay.
both, but like now they've had 2 conversations where he said he can't do this, and so now he wants to talk to her again. Like, why? Just because she showed up looking hot? Like, you can't have it, dude. You said no already. Just stick to it. But I get
But
it.
apparently he can, because she showed up looking like that for a reason. Like, so she didn't give up on it either. Like, both of them still wanted to be together, even though both of them probably know, like, this is not
I
great.
agree. She made a mistake here too, compromising what she wants because she's also immature.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how it is. You gotta learn somehow.
Like I said, we've all been here. This episode's very relatable. You're like, oh, yeah, I can keep it cash because like most 19-year-old guys just like don't want to be tied down. So then at Epstein the next day, Sean gives Julie her share of the money that they made from the party. She's so excited, and she says that Sean's really nice to her, so she's appreciative. Like, he let them have the party. He's letting her live at the loft. He got rid of Weirdo Tim. And so then Sean's like, well, why don't we go celebrate? Like, let's go to dinner. I'll make a resi. But she, of course, has a date. Not with Weirdo Tim, but some other new guy that she met at a bookstore. Guys just keep coming up to her, I guess. So again, Sean is disappointed and sad. And still weird, like, trying to make it happen with his also roommate / friend's ex-girlfriend. I don't like any of the, like, dating of exes stuff. But
Then don't watch 90210. If you don't like that.
It's on every single show. That's what happens. They all just date around and like they run out of storylines. But I'm like, it's only season 2.
Like, sincerely, so many of them date each other. It is beyond ridiculous.
I mean, Dawson's Creek, all they do is date each other on that show too. Like, that's just what shows do. I get it.
But it was a bigger friend group, so it was even worse.
Oh.
Like, it was even more layered than it was so bad.
Hopefully
Brandon
and Brenda never dated.
No. But they did have a little sexual tension, which was awkward. No, because she thought he was hot in real life.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
No, yeah.
Like,
not the characters.
Shannon Doherty thought he was hot in real life. So, like, sometimes, like, when they did photos, she's like, there's this one magazine cover, and she's like, straddling, I'm going to cut all this out. Don't worry about it, Heather. Keep going.
Do? It's your 90210 connection for the week.
That's your thing.
I went too far this time. Just go.
No, it wasn't the show Dexter. Weren't they playing brother and sister, but they were like married in real life? It happens, I think.
Yep.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
So Felicity tells Sally that by not being her, she's actually getting what she wants. She says that it's been a week since the party and Ben seems happy, but Felicity's not. So they decided to go to Bryant Park to see that movie that they missed the first time. So she packs up and heads over there. So she's sitting on a blanket watching The Gold Rush with Charlie Chaplin, but she's alone. She's glancing around at all the couples and friends meeting up, but Ben isn't showing up. He stood her up. And again, we see that necklace shining bright in like reflective light. So she's still wearing the necklace in this scene too.
Also, I also loved her body language because we didn't hear any sound. Like, it was like she doesn't do any dialogue there. We're just watching her.
Right.
And her facial expressions, oh my gosh. She was totally killing
bites
it.
into that
I felt
sandwich.
so sad. That was the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life when she ate that sandwich. It was so lonely. Oh my gosh. So just for, who does that? Who bites into a sandwich and provokes so much emotion? Carrie fucking Russell.
Carrie motherfucking Russell.
That's the one.
The queen. Yep. So then at work the next day, she shows up, Ben's already working, and they say hi, and she tells him that she went to Bryant Park last night. And he's like, oh my God, I completely forgot. He was doing something with Sean, and then they grabbed a bite to eat. Hope you didn't wait long. She's like, oh, it's fine. I didn't wait that long. But I actually hear too, again, just the brilliance of Carrie Russell. I feel like I heard her voice catch there. Like she was stifling a cry or something. Like I thought I heard her voice waver there. I might be dreaming, but I was like, wow, that's some great acting too. Like, oh no, it's fine. Like, but she's actually really upset.
Yeah, upset, trying to play it
Mhm.
cool. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
she does that so well. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
amazing.
So he says, well, I'll make it up to you. We'll go next week. But Felicity says, that's okay. Like, last night was the last one, but it's not that big of a deal, which we know it is to her. And so as she goes to the back room, he says, thanks for being so understanding about this. And she tells Sally that the compromise is getting to her. She says, are there parts of me that if I give them up, I won't be me anymore? And that's my angsty away message for the week.
It's a good one.
Thought that was just like really beautiful that, yeah, she's changing herself or giving up on things that she wants and needs just so that he's happier, that he sticks around. So then Gretchen knocks on her door. She's back in her room. Gretchen comes in. Gretchen's back in her little dumpy overalls. I loved the like
Yeah.
two extremes of the like stripper heels and barely there outfit, and now she's in like overalls and a t-shirt and looks like
Wasn't
a 12-year-old.
she?
I just
Didn't
thought
she
that
also
was
have
perfect.
like pigtails or something? Or am I imagining that?
I think she had little, yeah. At some point in the episode, she definitely had little pigtails. So she's crying because Ian dumped her, even after she did the blush on the nipples step.
That didn't work.
Shocker, I know. So Felicity asks Gretchen, does she at least feel better because she tried the list? And Gretchen says no, she feels stupid. Gretchen asks Felicity, how do you do it? Like, you'd never sink so low and compromise yourself just to be with some guy. And Felicity's like, oh, shit, I did. So it took the freshman to have her come to the realization that, yeah, that's exactly what she's doing with Ben. So Felicity waits outside the administration building for Ben to come out, and they have their little talk on the sidewalk. She says that she can't be with him like this. She thought she could, but she can't. She can't compromise herself like that. She's an emotional person. She feels things. She needs to get upset and talk about how she's feeling. She can't change that, and she doesn't want to. She says, and the thing is, you knew that, and you still pursued me, because you want something with me. You just aren't strong enough to have it, which in a way makes you a coward. And the saddest part is that one day you're going to wake up and realize what you missed, and it's going to be too late.
Oh my gosh. I love that speech.
Mic drop is all I have to say.
Yeah. I love that speech so much. And I remember that like in my 20s, whenever I was going through like a tough relationship or something, I used to like rewatch that scene and be like, come on now. Like, be like Felicity. Don't compromise yourself. Like, it was just so beautiful. Loved everything she said.
I thought it was great too. I liked it a
Hey,
lot.
we
Yeah.
agree on
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I know.
One thing
Yeah.
every episode should be our goal.
Oh, okay. Let's see what happens.
So Ben says his whole reply is he just doesn't know what to say, which
Mhm.
also feels, very
Mhm.
Ben, because he's not a talker.
Totally on brand.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's not a talker. Yep.
Yeah, he's not a talker. But she kisses him on the cheek and she leaves. And same thing here, like just as she's walking away, we can just see him standing there. Like he's still just standing there, like dumbfounded, doesn't know what to say, doesn't know what to do. And it is sad, like, and I think this conversation here, Dr. Joe, I will give it to you. I reflected on the way she presented all of this compared with how like Noel presented his feelings. Like the way she said this was just like, it wasn't me. There was like nothing mean
Yeah.
about it. Like it was just really
It's
brilliant.
insightful.
It was really brilliant. Yeah. Like she
Yeah.
was just like, she laid out the facts. Like, you knew this about me. You still pursued me because you want it, but you're not strong enough. I mean, the coward thing, that's like,
I didn't like
ooh,
that.
it was a
that
little
stung.
strong, but also like,
But so true.
Mostly
he is
accurate.
scared. Yeah.
I think it would have been more fair to call him scared, like label like his feeling versus labeling him, his person, as a coward. Maybe that was a cowardly approach to take, but I didn't like that she labeled his whole person as a coward. I was like, not really. Like, he's not a coward all the time. Like, he's not a coward across the board. He's just, scared.
Yeah. And just that she acknowledged that, like, it's just sad. Like, the saddest part is that you're
Mhm.
going to wake up and realize what you miss. Like, it is. The whole situation is just, like, sad and unfortunate. So, yeah, like, just comparing that conversation with last week.
Awesome.
I was just going to say, like, I don't hate Noel, but, like, it just does show that there are ways to have these tough conversations about, like, you hurt my feelings, or, you know, this is how this has affected me, without being mean about it or, like, trying to dig at someone.
Right. She didn't take any jabs, like you said. It was very factual, very
Yeah.
pretty objective, except for the coward part. But when he said, "I don't know what to say," she's like,
Yeah.
"I know, it's okay."
Yeah.
The way she says, "I know," it felt like in parentheses was, "I know, dumbass."
No.
Like I felt like it was a little bit.
Oh.
I felt something like I don't know. I was like, yeah, I know you don't
There
know
have
what
been
to say.
multiple,
You,
like, even when he came
yeah,
to visit, like, I thought we should talk, and then he sits down, he's like, I don't know where to
Yeah.
start. Like, that's Ben. It's like, yeah, I know, that's how you are, you don't know what to say. I mean, I
She
don't know.
knew.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't quite like condescending. Yes. Here we go. Say more,
Oh,
Melissa.
I was just saying, she knew he wasn't going to have a whole response, but she still wanted to say all these things anyway. Like, she knew they weren't going to have a back and forth discussion. It just needed to be said. So when he said, like, I don't know what to say, she's like, yeah. I know. I just needed to tell you this, like, sort of a thing.
Okay, I got it. I feel like that.
Not, I know, dumbass.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
No, like
I wouldn't add the
didn't
dumbass.
I maybe felt a certain way today. I don't know. I don't usually think that that's what she's saying. It's just like a sadness, like I know, and I'm sad. It's not going to work out, kind of thing. Like there was probably more of an undertone of sadness than I don't think she was trying to be condescending. It just like it felt so uncomfortable. I guess you know, it was just because it's sad.
Yeah,
and the truth hurts like so much. So good job all around acting.
So after she leaves, Felicity tells Sally that the time had come to let go of old habits and old dreams. It was time to see what else is out there and move on. And we finally see her take off the necklace and put it away in its little box. And then she tells Sally that it's one thing to say you're going to let go and another thing to do it. And I feel like now she's in the show sallying herself. Like, this I feel like would be where Sally comes in and says, like, yeah, it's probably time to let go of old habits and, you know, me with John and blah, blah, blah. But, like, now she's just sallying herself. And so she's like, oh, it's another thing to just, you know, actually do it and let go. And so that I also just had to laugh when she says, when I went to the haircutting place, like, you mean a salon? Like, that was where I'm like, oh yeah, guys wrote this, like the haircutting place.
That's funny.
That was like the only time where I'm like, come on, JJ and Matt. Did no one else notice that? I just laughed, which is like the haircutting place.
I think I did. I was like, that's weird.
Like, did the sign say like the haircutting place?
Yeah, is that the name of it?
But so she goes to the salon and we see her sit down and we see, again, I love cinematography here. Like, we see her trademark silhouette one last time here of her big, poofy, amazing curly hair. She tells Sally that she didn't go in there. She didn't do it for some guy or because of a list. That, she was doing it for herself. And we see the stylist start snipping. And she's watching the hair fall, and we see it pile up on the floor as the stylist keeps chopping. End scene.
Oh God, here it comes.
Well, we got here, folks. We got to the haircut.
The infamous haircut.
Oh.
Okay, I've got some more stuff. Okay, so when Melissa said she knew he wasn't going to say anything back or like reply to her, I thought she was talking about she knew he wasn't a talker in general. Because she comes up and Heather said it too before last episode, like, he knew she likes to talk things through and stuff. Well, Felicity knew Ben's not a talker and she pursued him anyway. So they were mutually culpable in this thing. They were mutually unrealistic about what they could give each other, or, you know, the viability of that relationship. I think that was a mutual thing and not just like, oh, Ben, why did you approach her, pursue her if you knew you couldn't? You know,
well, to that point, she, like, even in the last episode, tells Elena, or no, it was telling Javier, I guess, like, if I had picked Noel, I knew what that trip would have been. I knew I would have had a good time. Like, I knew, but like, that was safe, right? Ben was not a safe choice, and she did know that. And so that's why I do get like frustrated with her, because Yeah,
Right.
she's also making a poor decision, and I feel like, yeah, you could have chosen Noel and gone to Berlin and maybe had an amazing time, but you chose this guy, and now it's been literally a week that you've been dating, and now it's over.
Now you have that answer to that question, what would
Yeah.
have been like? Now you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been, I think, a bigger regret if she didn't go through all that and years later, like, oh, I wonder what would have happened if I did just go on that road trip. How would things be different? I think that'd be a bigger regret than just going through heartache. Like this, that's going to happen a million times. But not knowing what would have happened at all, that's devastating.
That's hard.
But yeah, she did also make the choice here to pursue him as well.
Yeah.
So that's the end of a very short Ben era. Now we are post Noel and post Ben. Like, just the sky's the limit. There's so
What's
many
next?
opportunities for her. I'm excited to see what happens next. And hopefully a lot of the other conflicts in the show can be resolved soon, too.
Oh,
'Cause I don't like everyone fighting. I'm a conflict avoidant. I don't like fighting.
That's the best part. I had another thing that I remembered from a long time ago. When he said, "You provoke me." So that was part of the appeal, not part of the, like, oh, I don't want to date her because she's too much or whatever, like that kind of sentiment. That was part of the appeal for him. And that was part of why he would pursue her then, because he said way back, if it was season 1, episode 1, I think, if not episode 2, "You provoke me."
I think
So-
episode 1.
I think it was. I think
the
it was.
pilot.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And so he's always felt that way about her this whole time, and he's always known that, and he's always been okay with that enough to pursue her. Like, that's part of the appeal, not a reason to run away from her. Like, that part is something he likes, actually. Likes enough. To a degree.
I know. And we've already complained about the end of last season, how everything felt rushed. But I think, yeah, for me to like break up with Julie because things were too serious and then pursue like the most serious person on the planet, to me just didn't make sense. But like you said, feelings are feelings, didn't have to make sense in his brain. But that's just where I get annoyed because, yeah, like he was like, I don't care about Noel, I don't care about Julie. Like, I just want to do this road trip with you. And it's like, okay, but like you can't just disregard everything that's going on. And, that's where I get frustrated because I'm like, she had this other opportunity to go with Noel, and he still kept like, no, come with me. I want you to come with me, when he knows she's like this serious person who does overthink everything and does have strong feelings and isn't someone who just keeps things casual. But
he did say, though, too, that like he just wanted to spend time with her. I just want to do this road trip, not I just want to like be together with you and date you now. He just was proposing a road trip at that time. And he did say that they could go as friends. He just wanted to spend time with her. And while we know the sexual tension like wouldn't have let that happen, probably, he, I think, would have gone along with that. I feel like Felicity was the one who wanted to jump his bones even more. Like, I think he could have kept it together if she didn't want to do anything. Like, he wouldn't have like assaulted her or anything. Like, he would have just hung out with her.
I'm not really interested in you that way. You really think he still would have been like, great, we'll just be friends now. I still want to go on this road trip with you. I don't buy that.
I mean, they're going in the same direction. They both need to get back to Palo Alto at some point.
Just logistics at that point. Like, we both have to go home. Okay.
Carpool.
Well, then, if that were the case, I would rather go to Berlin.
Of course you would.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us for The List. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Felicity Was Here is produced, written, and edited by Heather, Melissa, and Dr. Joe. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Felicity Was Here Pod. If you're enjoying the pod, please leave us a review and help us spread the word. We appreciate you and would love to hear from Felicity superfans like us. So send us your feedback, ask us your burning questions, or just say hey at felicitywasherepod@gmail.com. We may even read your note in a future episode.